the red light is on, it's going, right?
Oh, yeah.
And when the red light is not on, it's
not going. That's right.
Okay, well, that'll be good to know, because I wouldn't want to do anything cool when the camera was not on.
Oh, no, heaven forbid.
Last night at 12:01 a.m. we started laying out the paintings, and I used an opaque projector, which is basically a big light bulb and 2 mirrors, and you put a photograph on that, and you can enlarge it and throw it up on, you know, a big panel like I did. And this provides the luminescence. The first couple hours of it, really, right now. Come back
and see
how things have changed.
So you'll be here, what, through Wednesday?
Yeah, these pages are supposed to be finished Wednesday night at midnight. You know, all of a sudden I've got your attention in a way that you really like to pay attention, which is something that's going to be happening.
So describe the setup. I mean, there's a window, and you're going to have your stuff that you work with, your easels and your paint.
Well, actually, because of the beautiful space that Downtown Kalamazoo has donated to us, excuse me, it's kind of changed a little bit. The storefront, initially, we needed because we wanted it to be accessible. We wanted walking traffic. We didn't want to have something where people had to come to it specifically. We kind of wanted to have
Yeah. Go on in there.
Okay.
Sure.
So in this setup, the storefront will be, in one side, there'll be a group mural that people will be working on. And then as you walk into the space, we've mapped it out into little areas. I like to call them workshops, where I'll have the painting arena where I'll be working on all 3 paintings. And then we'll have a workshop where people can come and get a digital printout of their painting of choice and then finish it for me. And then they'll be encouraged to bring those up to me, because I want other people's opinions and needs in these paintings. So if somebody comes up and they tell me their drawing, that's going to add to the strength of my paintings. So that's one degree of interaction. And then we'll have a souvenir and information booth, which will be lots of fun.
Because you're taking immediate input and feedback from the public as to how your work is going to turn out. Yeah.
Well, I think immediacy is something that a lot of artists strive for, and they may take hours and hours and hours to produce a painting that looks immediate. But, you know, the magic of it, what happens on the spot, improvisation, is incredible, especially when there's many people involved. I mean, many brains are always better than just one. So, you know, the trick is to find a way to orchestrate that and make it so it's not complete chaos. And but the joy of it is that the product is so much better. It's come from many ideas, many creativities. Left towards the nonprofits to support artists. But most of the businesses that, well, all of the businesses that are involved have been involved in my career before to one degree or another, have been supportive to one degree or another. So I said, hey, I'll do you a painting if you feed us lunch. And he said, okay. So it worked out.
Where they get to take it or put it in their place?
Yeah, they get to put it in their business. And see, that's another interesting thing, is that all of a sudden my work with their logo is in their business being seen by their customers. I don't know, it's just a big experiment. We'll see how it goes. Are you guys curious why I paint dogs? Does anybody wonder that? I mean, that's a good question.
Why do you think dogs?
Because I love dogs. And also because when you're doing work that you're going to show someone, you need to have a relationship with your audience, and you need to decide how close or how to spread from the audience you want to be.
Don't mess up.
Mark broke it. The dogs unplugged the webcam with their tail.
Just let him know that.
It probably wasn't on the list of contingencies that you planned for.
Well, I should have seen it coming. Because it's something that exists in everyone's everyday life, that anybody that comes in here, whether they're visually oriented or not, can have a sense of familiarity with the paintings enough that they kind of maybe even get over the fact that the dog's green. So, yeah, the dogs are definitely a tool. Now, we've got cat people here too, and then we have non-pet people. And I've looked for the non-pet people, and you can tell because they do not respond to any of the animals. How could you not respond to an animal? I have no idea.
About 80% of the people like you.
Close your eyes after staring at that orange for so long.
Hi. Hi. How are you? Good. Thanks for coming. We had a media barrage earlier.
I was here earlier, but you were going to
Oh, yeah, that was good. But we're all laughing right now. We're all smiling and enjoying these. So, you know, that's the best you can get, really. And this is the closest I can get right now. Now, next year, if it takes goats to get to people, I will do goats. And, you know, I've got this rabbit going, and I really like the rabbit. The rabbit's nice. And then I thought, well, okay, we've done domesticated animals. What about, like, if we moved out to the animal kingdom? Like a badger? Badgers would be cool because they have those crazy stripes that go down their back. Because also, I'm just looking, when I'm looking at animals, I'm looking for spaces to paint. You know, of like, oh, well, there's a little lightning bolt on a badger that you could paint like orange. Well, sometimes, like yesterday, I told Jack, I was like, I feel like I'm really painting. There was like 15 seconds there where I felt like I was a real painter and that I was really, really painting. Other times I feel like, you know, I'm laying stuff out, I'm putting in blocks of color. It becomes like a real flat silk screening process sometimes, or a collage process. And then there's just that 1 minute where you have the brush and it just hits the panel and there's a purple stripe and you're like, yeah, that's good. You know, and maybe it's just a stripe. I think that the purple on the orange dog here is where I really started to feel like I was a painter.
How, can you talk about your color palette?
I like turquoise and I like magenta. Most of these are underpainted in yellow, red, and orange, maybe with some violet. Lemon yellow is getting to be one of my favorites because I like when I do start laying in opaque areas, I leave like little slivers of that underpainting to show through, and they start to look electric. They start to kind of glow. Well, nothing's right quite yet. The only thing that's right is the white duck.
Why?
Because she's just finished. She's perfect. She's really, I like that transparency. I like the way she's running across the canvas. I like the way that her body and Phil's nose make an X this way, and then the hula girl makes another crossing back into the back plane of the canvas.
Well, white just seems sort of like this ghost like
Ghost dog. Yeah, I did a swamp dog. Yeah, we've had a lot of people spend a lot of time today with the coloring sheets. I mean, who would think you could have that much fun with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper? I mean, I saw some really good dogs today. Very, very good. You know, all of a sudden sharing the product, which is the painting, with your audience is not near as rewarding as sharing the process. And the process is wonderful. There was probably about 15 minutes out there today where we were all working. And we had some good music on, and we were all in our quiet spaces, enjoying what we were doing, and it was really magical. It was very, very neat. Yeah.
It seems like you're focusing a lot on dogs.
Well, way back from the beginning, I'm initially trained as a sculptor, and I came here to Kalamazoo and set up a steelworking shop. And then I started doing these crazy paintings about 1.5 years ago, and our dogs, Phil and Ezzy, they're the special guest stars.
And are they listening right now? Hi, Phil. Hi, Ezzy.
Phil and Ezzy are great WMUK fans.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they like your show too. They are the center of our lives, and we enjoy them very, very much, me and my husband, Mark. So I started to paint them. Also, they're ready models. They're always hanging around, and then you love it when you look at them. And Phil's a German Shepherd, so I started to break down where the patterns of color were and how the stripes wrapped around his body, and just studied that, and then started to pick up the paintbrush. And so I stayed with dogs for quite a while. And what was my next challenge? The neighbor's cat. So I did. In March, I had a show at the Epic Center that was all dogs. And since then, I've moved on to rabbits. Now, one day I'd love to do a badger. And I've always had people come and, oh, this is very nice, very handsome, very stately. My show at the Epic Center, a lady cried because it reminded her of her dog. Booterman. I'm not out to make people cry. People were delighted and left very personal, intimate messages like, this is so happy, this is so wonderful to see. And I think, wow, that's the kind of response that I'd like to elicit as an artist. You know, whether or not I'm consciously trying to do that, I do need to be responsible for what's out there. And if it makes people happy, wow, perfect.
That's great. That's great. I don't think I've ever had an artist sort of get that specific about the response that their stuff elicits. And you said you're not out to make people cry, but you know.
Well, I just, it's a funny thing to talk about. Oh yeah, a lady just broke down in tears at my show. That's not, take that out of context and, well, my career would be over.
So as this airs on Memorial Day, there might be people listening who think, I want to go down and check this out. So you're going to be there through Wednesday at midnight, right? And what would you like to say to someone who's hearing this? I mean, do you want to invite people to come down?
Oh, I'd love for as many people to come down as possible, and this is a great thing for families and adults. We've tried to cover all of our bases to make sure that everyone that walks through the door, no matter where they're from or who they are, can enjoy themselves, because our main goal is to, make art more fun, and there will be nothing less than fun involved. We just appreciate it if you could come down and join us.
We haven't done anything wrong right now. I wouldn't say anything wrong. It is right now. I mean,
and yesterday was Labor Day, so I should just shut up and be patient.
Yeah, I think
okay.
This is a slow build.
All right.
Well, in my hair, I want to put it
How are you? Wonderful. All right, good to see you.
Cool. Well, let's stand back and take a look. You want to? Here, put your brush in the water.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about over here in the lower right-hand corner? You want to do anything over there? Got a lot going on here. Okay, big brush or little brush? Little brush. Okay, I'll take the big one. You don't mind if I help. You can let it dry and do another layer, and then make it even whiter still.
We've put a lot of effort into this project, and it seemed like, Monday was slow, and we said, okay, well, Tuesday it's going to hit, and it's going to be a circus. And Tuesday was slow, today was slow. And then immediately after we came out, there must have been like 5 cameras I looked up at. And we had a lot of good people here, and we had got a lot of work done, and I heard laughing, and people were excited, so it immediately made me feel better.
You painting orange, 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 orange.
I love that, Holly. I'm going to be mixing up blue right now.
Lie to him.
What's your favorite color? Well, I just happen to be mixing up some blue right now. I'm looking at the palette.
then, you know, I hate wasted effort. I hate wasted anything. And I think that's why I was upset. And it just seemed like one more stone on the, you put a lot into this, but nothing much came out of it pile, you know. And I think art, sometimes I look at art as this great big hole and you shovel money into it, and you shovel time into it, and you shovel dedication and enthusiasm into it, and hope that one day the hole will fill up, and then you have what's there. And I think I get really impatient. I mean, I want it to happen now. I mean, the paintings are good. I'm good. Everybody else that's involved in this is good. The project is fantastic. It's for a great reason. You know, I mean, what else? We're bringing, you know, enthusiasm and creativity to anyone who walks in the door. And, you know, why hasn't it made a bigger splash? But I think Mark made a really good point the other night, and it just goes to show you, it's just like anything else. You know, it won't be big until it's over. You know, and then you look at that, will I be big when I'm over? Is that it? Do I have to die to be good? You know, I want to see the fruits of my labor while I'm still alive. I want to see the fruits of my labor before I'm 40. And I get really down in the mouth sometimes, especially at times like this. But
that was all
before 6 o'clock. And before Abby. Wow. Remember when we first started this project and I said, you know, my vision is that somebody colors a picture and comes up and shows it to me, and I get that person on the painting. And Abby was the one. Now, it just happened to happen when all the television cameras and everything else was.
Abby was the first one to really work on the paintings with me, and it all came down just right. I was waiting for somebody to come up and show me to color your dog, and she did that. And it's pretty amazing because she's a natural with a paintbrush.
And she made a big stroke, and then she turned it on its side and made a thin stroke. She knew exactly how to use that brush. And I'm like, Abby, wow, you're really good. Well, my mom was an artist. And she worked with me, so it was neat. So I felt really good about that. Well, they're getting finished. It's easy to start something. It's almost impossible to finish something. And the finishing part is the most important part.
Yeah.
So I'm making my moves much more carefully. I mean, I love the beginning part because, you know, everything is open. Even if you make a mistake, it can be covered up eventually. So, and it's all just the first, you know, that juicy minute where everything's white and then there's this big red mark on it. You know, that's great. But now it's more of, okay, I have all of this going on, and how do I balance this out? And each move, as we get towards the end, I think it tapers as each move gets more calculated and more careful. Now, the nice thing about paint is if you screw it up, you can always go back over it again. But the hard part about paint is if there's something really good and you cover it up, you're never going to get it back. Oh, here's Phil. You're the star. Can Phil sit in on the interview? Will he be in the frame? Okay. That's your friend, Jeph. Okay. Anyway, Phil, you're sitting on the questions.
What music has been inspiring you throughout this process?
People's voices. I mean, music's good. It's background. And there are some, when I'm really in the groove, Junior Brown is the way to go for me. It's very high energy, he's very talented. He's the king of the double entendre as well, so it's funny and intellectually stimulating. But really, I think when you're really working, everything kind of fades out into the background. It's not over. We still have quite a bit to go. Well,
I got a star on my car and one on my chest.
No.
A gun on my hip.
Oh, is that when it's done? So we run out of paint.
I'm a guy who's a boss on this highway.
I'm gonna paint till I run out of paint.
You know, it's very kid-oriented, and that's great, but to also make it worthy of adult attention, and that's happened. It's happened. I mean, almost everything that I've asked for on this project has happened.
They're so full of energy. You know? And those little squirrels. And the little hula girl and the pagoda. They're wonderful.
I look at these and I wonder who did them.
Where did they come from?
Where'd they come from? And if you look, you know, we can look back and see the root of all of these things. This is just a sheer pleasure. This could be our living room. I begged Mark. I said, "Can I have the Milner Center?"
You can rent out
Please,
the
can
top.
I have it? Let's sell the house. We don't need that beautiful garden. We want the Milner Center.
We can live on art.
Yeah.
I was born in Portland town. I was born in Portland town. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was married in Portland town. I was married in Portland town. Yes, I was.
There it is.
This one just got done while the 3x3 was getting done. That was called No Ride Today.
Yeah, I love the little. Is this still in Esmeralda?
Yeah, and that's my truck in the back, so it's like my 3 favorite things besides my husband.
It's actually double. I thought it was 209. 209 bird.
Big Ezzy is outside.
Sweet. Is she ballast down? Cool. Really duh, of course.
Oh, we don't have any sandbags on, so I don't think we need to.
Okay.
I gotta figure out what we're gonna put out anyway.
When I'm thirsty, I reach for a Holly Fisher. Pure refreshment.